welcome to a NewsX Sunday Guardian special on this whole Lalit Modi shenanigans, scam, whatever you want to call it. I have with me Sandeep Bamzai, senior journalist and someone who's been following IPL and I think writing a lot on Lalit Modi. Dilip Cherian, image guru, and I think sometimes guru for Lalit Modi also. He's not your client anymore?
He says quickly.
No. Okay. We have also Veer Sanghvi, senior editor, columnist, commentator. Ashok Malik, I'm going to go and ask him about what's happening inside the BJP. But first, I'm going to begin with you, Sandeep. Something about, what is this about this man? He's got a chief minister, cabinet minister, whole host of ministers, industrialists at his beck and call. He's absconding, he's sitting there in London on our TV screens, yet we can't get him.
See, at the core of Lalit Modi is the fact that he's extremely smooth. So he knows how to deal with different people. So he knows how to deal with a businessman, a tycoon, an industrialist, a politician, and he knows how to call in markers and he knows how to dispense favors. And that's exactly what he did when he was the IPL commissioner. So when he turns around and tells the world that N. Srinivasan was guilty of nepotism, blah, 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 the same Lalit Modi was guilty of everything. His wife, Minal Modi's sister, Kavita, is married to Suresh Chellaram, who is the lead investor in Rajasthan Royals. Okay? His stepdaughter, Karima, is married to Gaurav Burman, who is Mohit Burman's brother, lead investor in Punjab Kings 11. His childhood friend, Jay Mehta, is an investor in KKR along with Shah Rukh Khan. Who are the other franchise owners who were given franchises? Mukesh Ambani, for obvious reasons. Shah Rukh Khan, again for obvious reasons. So what did he do? Sharad Pawar wanted out from this entire ICL controversy where Subhash Chandra was giving him a torrid time. So he architected a Indian Premier League where he brought Lalit Modi in. Lalit Modi in turn did him a favor when Sharad Pawar lost the only election in his lifetime to Jagmohan Dalmia, I think in Kolkata, where there was an AGM of the BCCI, and he was smarting under that defeat. It is Lalit Modi who managed to regroup all the forces because there are 31 associations in the cricket board, and he defeated Jagmohan Dalmia and helped install Sharad Pawar as the president of the BCCI. So there was this nice, cozy club,
yeah.
And then he cooked up a secret society called IPL. That is Lalit Modi. I have dealt with him personally and professionally for many years, while he was here as the IPL commissioner and then later while he was in London. He is extremely arrogant, very short-tempered, and even the interview that we all saw the other day, you can see how distasteful he is at times in his dealing with the interviewer. So,
but Ashok, he's extremely arrogant, extremely distant, but he's also extremely well connected. I mean, you saw the list on his email friends itself will tell you.
Look, if you're wealthy, you tend to be well connected. He comes from a very wealthy family. That's one. So a family with a long history, with a long heritage as well. That's one. Second, do remember, cricket is a huge business in India, and IPL is one of the most successful sporting startups anywhere in the world. Between 2008 and 2010, between 2008 and 2010, Lalit Modi more or less ran the IPL. He ran it like a bucket shop, frankly. He gave contracts to his friends and cronies, not just the franchises, even some of the vendor agreements were agreed to. There were rumors and speculation about kickbacks at that point. He was doing pretty much what he wanted. And he distributed largesse very generously. Obviously, he was winning friends and influencing people. And some of those people have now tried to walk away from him, which is why he's hitting back. And some of those people still owe him favors.
Which is the thing. The fact that he's, sitting there and yet untouchable, two governments have not been able to get him. What does it say about us?
Well, the first government, the UPA, didn't actually try and extradite him. So let's be fair. And this government, if this scandal hadn't broken, I think it was probably preparing the ground for a quiet return, and they would have buried the cases against him. So the question is not that the governments are weak, but that Modi is so well connected that people don't act against him.
So how do you see this shaping up for Sushma, Vasundhara in the sense?
I think, my sense was always that Modi gave the interview because he wanted to throw Vasundhara under the bus. to pay off Sushma, who was much more useful to him. He'd fallen out with Vasundhara. He's thrown her under the bus. Perhaps by the time this is telecast, we will know the final outcome of that controversy. He has a relationship with the Coastal. So frankly, he's now destroyed Sushma's entire defense. Sushma's defense was, yes, I helped him on humanitarian grounds because he's an Indian. Maybe my husband had a relationship with me, but that's professional. Lawyers have all kinds of clients. How can you blame that on me? This guy's gone on television and said it's not professional. They acted for you 22 years out of friendship. They didn't take a penny from me. So then that conflict of interest charge is now wide open. So if the Congress or somebody plugs away at it, what you'll end up with, if not Sushma's resignation, is a much weakened Sushma, which frankly suits the other Modi just fine.
Dilip, he gave that one interview and then he just clammed up. If you were advising him, what would you say? What did you make of that interview?
In a sense, the secret of making IPL and hyping up IPL was also the fact that he was able to sell the rights of a bastardized form of the game to a bunch of to a channel at a humongous price, and then he sexed it up with dancing dolls and all the other paraphernalia which went with it.
Walking porn.
Yeah, whatever. So essentially, he is a man who knows television, and he knows how to present himself for television, choosing a backdrop, Montenegro, all of that. So this exotic locale, dark glasses in the sun, and doing this in your face kind of thing.
Who are the other people who are going to come under this Lalit Modi bus?
See, look at his career. There were allegations of drugs and assault charges in the United States when he was a student. Then he was quietly brought back into the country. He was not made part of Godfrey Phillips, but instead he started something of his own in Bombay called Modi Entertainment Network, MEN, which was he was looking at sport because I think the time that he spent in the United States, he understood the business of sport. Plus, he's a Marwadi, he's very, very smart, make no mistake, he's extremely sharp. He's extremely sharp. So what did he do? He came back. I
don't know if I should apologize to our Marwadi viewers.
But he's extremely sharp.
Very sharp.
Yeah. So he's got great business acumen, make no mistake. Between 2003 and 2008, when the same Vasundhara Raje was the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, this man pretty much ran Rajasthan from Rambagh Palace. It's all well documented. Outlook did a cover story. He ran it from the presidential suite of Rambagh Palace.
And Vasundhara's home minister has been saying that also, former
home
minister.
So this is all well documented. In 2008, like I explained, around that time, to get into the cricket board, you need a vote. Without that vote, you're nobody. You can be whoever you are. If you don't have that one vote amongst that 32 associations, you're nobody. So he made sure through the same chief minister, where he became the Rajasthan Cricket Association president. Now, where does the falling out take place? The falling out takes place when he muscles his way back to the Rajasthan Cricket Association and becomes the president all over again, very quietly.
This is the falling out with Vasundhara.
Yeah. In 2013, when she's on the verge of becoming the chief minister again, she throws him out and appoints Amin Pathan as the RCA president. And he is furious. Then there were other allegations that he made publicly sitting in London, but let's not go into that. Now let's come to what is material to this case. Everything else is rhetoric. What we discussed about Sushma, what we discussed about Vasundhara. If Robert Vadra is guilty, then Dushyant Singh is guilty.
That's an interesting line. How is the BJP going to defend that?
No, if you look at the Sushma episode and the Vasundhara episode, while I'm clear that I wish Sushma had not taken that decision, I wish she'd been politically just more astute and careful because she was less humanitarian because she was dealing with a very notorious character, and he is really the kiss of death for politicians who know him. And I wish she hadn't actually met him at that private dinner in London, and she'd been more careful. The fact is, it is possible to take a charitable view of her decision. I agree that it's also possible to take a more diabolical view, and I respect those who do that. But given her past history, given that she's been fairly spotless in her career so far, it is possible to take a charitable view. With Vasundhara, I'm afraid that charitable view is a little more difficult to take, because if she's indeed signed that document, it becomes very difficult to defend. The business links with that her son has, Dushyant has, who's also BJP MP, has with Lalit Modi, would obviously be under the scanner because almost no business Lalit Modi has run has been clean. all of them have been enmeshed. Even the Modi Entertainment Network was enmeshed in controversy. The IPL is still enmeshed in controversy, much of it thanks to Lalit Modi's legacy. He's quite right that the charges against Robert Vadra were not all of breaking the law. Technically, he may not have broken the law in a lot of cases, but he was under the ambit of suspicion for impropriety, for trading insider knowledge for business deals without actually breaking the law. That is the accusation against him. The same accusation can be made. I'm not suggesting it's true, but can be made in this case as well. Yes.
How do you see this building up? Is this your NDAs, 2G, is it a CWG, is it others? I mean, in the role of scams?
I actually don't see it as being such a big deal compared to the UPA scams. What have we got? We've got a minister who calls up and says, we don't mind if you give this man a passport. And we have a minister, chief minister, who we know has had links with this guy for 30, 35 years. And they've been family friends, they've been at weddings, they've organized each other's weddings, etc. Who has a son who seems to get a sweetheart deal. I'm not defending that deal. All I'm saying is, can you compare that to Raja? Can you compare that to 2G? Can you compare that to Colgate? Can you compare? I don't think it's that big a deal. It's important because it's important because the BJP no longer, or the Modi government, the BJP was never very particularly honest, but the Modi government, which we had the impression, whatever else it did, there would be no corruption, there would be no crony capitalism, Modi's claim. That veneer, as you're saying, has been somewhat tarnished.
No, I think Veer is contradicting himself. He's first saying that this is no comparison with Raja, 2G and all of that, but he's completely right. There's nothing this government has done which smells or stinks of a financial swindle. So to that extent, I don't think the veneer has gone.
Then you're saying a state government is different from the central government.
That's true. That's Vasundhara's business going back to her previous term, if I'm not mistaken, if you look at the dates.
It was a previous term.
I'm not certain. That's not Modi's problem as such. It's the BJP's problem. Yes, of course, it's not Modi's. It's not the Modi
That's a lawyer's argument, Ashok.
Well, it's true. We're talking about Modi's government. Even he's talking about Modi's government rather than the BJP. You can't defend everyone in the BJP or any party. In terms of what Sushma Swaraj did, again, there's no hint of pecuniary benefit. There is a bad call, a bad judgment, no question. But there's no hint of pecuniary benefit. So I don't think the situations are comparable. I think to a large degree, Modi's government's image has taken a dent, yes, but it remains where it is. It also depends on how he acts and responds to this.
You know, the enforcement directorate has said that, they are now going to look into bringing him back, try and revoke his passport. Do you think we'll get Lalit Modi back?
I will draw a parallel with Nadeem, who was involved in the Gulshan Kumar murder. He flew the coup. He's been living in London for what, 16, 17 years. I think it happened, Gulshan Kumar murder took place in 1998 or so. So he's been living there just as this guy's been living there for the last 5 years. But to come back to the pecuniary benefit, the Chief Minister of Rajasthan allows Lalit Modi to muscle his way into cricket politics by ensuring that he becomes the president of the RCA. She tweaks the constitution of the state association, mind you. Okay? In a year or so, there is a deal where 21 crores comes from some dubious entity registered in Mauritius called Wilton Investments into Lalit Modi's account. Lalit Modi, being the Badshah that he is, gives Dushyant Singh, son of Vasundhara Raje, a 3.8 crore loan. We don't know whether the loan has been returned.
This is in addition to the 11 crore invested in the company.
There are two tranches to that. There is 3.8 crores and then there is the share purchase at a super premium. No, ultra super premium of 996,000 rupees for a 10 rupee share. So how do you justify that? And what is this entity which has been valued at such an astronomical amount? What is its business? In Vadra's case, Vadra actually took the money from DLF, bought the land, got the CLU changed, returned the money to DLF. And sold the land back also. Here, we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened to the loan, which is a soft loan, obviously. And we certainly don't know why a super premium was paid for those shares and what that entity's business is. So, if you want to establish a quid pro quo, here you're allowed to become the RCA president, then this deal happens. And then we know that for 5 years he pretty much ran Rajasthan the state of Rajasthan from Rambagh Palace. So there is a huge question mark in this case.
A huge question mark. Which brings me to Ashok, the state within the BJP, you know, when this story first broke, there were allegations that somebody within the BJP was trying to sabotage Sushma, I think. Vasundhara, of course, Lalit Modi did the task.
I know that conspiracy theory has been doing the rounds of Delhi, but my understanding is this controversy arose from the civil war within the BCCI, which is actually India's state within a state. It's India's ISI. If I may. And there have been rumors that Srinivasan and Modi have been, Lalit Modi have set spies on each other and have been hacking into each other's mails. That may or may not be true, but that is the perception. Yeah. And these documents emerged from that, and Sushma Swaraj is probably collateral damage. Though Vasundhara, of course, as Veer said, was thrown under the bus deliberately by Lalit Modi. I can't see why someone in the BJP would want to sabotage the monsoon session of Parliament, which is almost certain to be affected by this this controversy. Because the monsoon session is crucial for the BJP government, it's crucial for a lot of bills. And while they could, and there have been rivalries within the party in the past, there's no question of that, I think much of that has been settled. There was a bit of jockeying for who would take pole position before the 2014 elections or after the Vajpayee-Advani generation. I think that's more or less been settled. So I don't think the infighting is as intense as people make it out to be.
But do you realize that every time Lalit Modi is pushed to the wall, he comes back screaming, Shashi Tharoor, Lalit Modi. Sushma Swaraj, Vasundhara Raje, Lalit Modi. And God alone knows what else, what other ammo he has which can do incalculable damage.
And do you think Lalit Modi is here, I mean, we're not going to get rid of him in a hurry, or will they quickly hush it up, will a resignation kind of?
Well, I think whoever encouraged people to follow the story worked on the assumption that here were these mails which the Sunday Times had dug up. There was an Indian link. If you made that link public, Sushma would have to resign and the monsoon session would not be affected. It hasn't actually worked out that way. I think the situation now has spiraled out of control. Lalit Modi is only one player in this drama. There are players within India. There are players, as Ashok has correctly said, within the BCCI, and there are players within the BJP. My guess, as of now, and these things change by the minute, is that Vasundhara looks like she's in deep trouble. But Sushma, I think if they sacrifice her, that's going to be a massive blow to the government's credibility, and so they will hold firm. On the other hand, if they hold firm, the Congress will not let up, and the monsoon session may well be in trouble.
But with this Sushma Vasundhara, will other scalps also follow? Is the story too hot? Has it spiraled out of everybody's control now?
All the people Lalit Modi is close to, really, are people in the NCP, etc. I'm not sure he's close to that many other people in the BJP. So the potential for damage to the BJP, at least based on what we know, is not enormous.
Well, we need to take a short break, but don't go away. As you can see, this is a very heated discussion. We're going to come back and continue talking about Lalit Modi and his impact on the government. Discussing the impact of Lalit Modi on the other Modi's government here in Delhi. So, what do you know, Ashok was talking about he's saying there's not much within the BJP. It's not, that conspiracy theory he's debunked. Are you buying that?
I don't think that it matters anymore because the monsoon session is so close, whether there's a conspiracy theory or not.
Congress is not going to let
up. The fact is that this is given ammunition to play that all over again, and it will play itself out in the way legislation attempts will be made within Parliament. So I think you will see that that lead motive running through in a lot of discussions, and in some senses it does cause damage to a government which wants to show itself as a unified whole moving on a plan.
Sunny, why did Lalit stop giving interviews? What was so damaging in that first interview?
My own sense is, actually I was going to say something on this only, that my own sense is that he was asked to, somebody gagged him. Because he has called NDTV for an interview, he has called CNN IBN for an interview. Somebody from NDTV actually traveled to Montenegro and CNN IBN. Yeah, and then he's received a call from somebody and somebody has asked him to shut up. So believe me, when Modi opens his mouth, there's always trouble coming. And I've just given you 2-3 examples. Shashi Tharoor, Sushma Swaraj, Vasundhara Raje. So understand one thing. Here is a man who has kept track of every single mail that came to him or was sent out by him. He's like that, huh? And at the same time, every deal that he has done with any vendor, he has kept track of every single deal.
They all keep tapes and diaries. I mean, Amar Singh, this reminds me so much of Amar Singh.
Isn't it interesting that a deal, a share, ultra share premium being paid years ago, the Enforcement Directorate wakes up now in 2015 and decides to call 2 of the directors in that company now, 7 years later or 8 years later. I find it most odd.
And where did those papers come from, the Dushyant deal?
Exactly.
Yeah. How come it suddenly come up? Somebody has to have supplied
No, but that's interesting. The story was broken by the Times of India.
Which buried it, as you pointed out, on page 9.
Buried on
but
page 9.
Somebody must have given it to them.
And this story, if you read the story carefully, it has a quote from Dushyant Singh. And that quote goes back a couple of months.
So which means that it came to ED at some point of time.
So they have not released that story. Finally, they've put out the story, not realizing the import of the story, burying it on page 9, and today taking credit for it. Or rather, next day taking credit for it.
Basically, the news channels had made it a big story.
Yeah.
Encouraged by your repeated tweets.
Well, maybe or maybe not, but yes.
Ashok, any final thoughts on this?
I can't see how the monsoon session will not be affected, irrespective of whether there is no designation, 1 designation or 2 designations. I think the monsoon session will be affected. To that degree, yes, it has affected the Modi government because it's ended the period of virginity, if I could put it that way, the 1 year of no scandal, 1 year of no controversy. And one of the reasons Modi won his big mandate was because he was seen as different and able to reform or willing to reform and take on the clubby Lutyens Delhi atmosphere, which is what these 2 scandals are, and this whole controversy is about. Lalit Modi typifies that culture. And a lot will now depend on his response, not what he says or tweets, that's irrelevant, but how he responds politically to this distorting of his narrative.
Cronyism is back, let's put it this way. One had wished that cronyism would be swept off the table. It's back.
Can I just make one last point? It often doesn't matter what you do. When the Shashi Tharoor scandal broke, Sonia Gandhi had him sacked instantly. When the other scam broke, they sacked the chief minister instantly. But just because you're seen as sacking people doesn't mean the scandals go away. Modi's options are severely limited.
No, but I'd like to add there, in the case of the UPA government, Narendra Modi, in the case of the UPA government, there were serious scandals, serious financial scandals. Those are absent here yet. So if they come, this is another matter.
Both Adarsh and Tharoor came before the scandals.
That's true, I think.
No, Ashwani Kumar was sacked. Pawan Bansal was sacked.
But that's when also the court stepped in.
Tharoor was sacked, Ashok Chavan was sacked, Bansal was sacked, Ashwani Kumar was sacked.
Raja was jailed.
Forget Raja. Dayanidhi Maran was sacked.
Okay, well on that note, I'll have to end now. Thank you for watching this edition of the Roundtable. We'll see you again, same time next week.